And then here's the one you must be most familiar with. This is the normal way you would set up a division problem. Even if you saw it written as number 2, you would have to write it as number 4 to figure it out more than likely. Okay, we start by dividing 4 into 8. 4 will go into 8 2 times, so we put the 2 over the 8. And then 2 times 4 is 8. Then we subtract. 8 from 8 is 0. And then we bring down the 1. And then we start the cycle over again. Okay, we divide 4 into 0, 1, which is the same thing as just 1. So 4 doesn't go into 1, so we put a 0 over the 1 there. That's holding the place of the last digit here. And then 0 times 4 is 0. We subtract again. 1 minus 0 is 1. And then we bring down the next digit, which is 2. So that when we divide 4 into 12, we will put our answer above the digit 2. So 4 will go into 12 3 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract and get a remainder of 0. And sure enough, we did get the answer of 203. Now consider the next example. 12 goes into 2,380. Okay, we start with 12 goes into 23 because 12 will not go into 2. So let's see, 12 will go into 23 1 time, so we put the 1 over the 3 since we're dividing into 23 at this point. 1 times 12 is 12. Then we subtract. 2 from 3 is 1, 1 from 2 is 1, and then bring down the 8. Now we have to divide 12 into 118. Well, I know that 12 times 10 is 120, and that's almost 120, just not quite. So that means it's probably a little bit less than 10. It's probably 9 times that it will go. Let me just check over here. 12 times 9, 9 times 2 is 8, and then I carry the 1. 9 times 1 is 9 plus 1 is 108. Okay, so it'll go 9 times. We put a 9 here, and then we just determined that 9 times 12 was 108, so we put 108 here. Then we subtract. 8 from 8 is 0. 0 from 1 is 1, and then we bring down the 0. Now we need to figure out how many times 12 will go into 100. Okay, well we just did the calculation over here that 12 times 9 was 108. Let's see about 12 times 8 then, because that's just a little bit less. 100 is just a little less than that. Okay, so 12 times 8. 8 times 2 is 16, carry the 1. 1 times 8 is 8 plus 1 is 9, 96. Okay, so this will go 8 times. And 8 times 12 is 96. Subtract. Okay, so let's see, we need to borrow from the 0 here, so that I'm going to make that 9 since I'm borrowing from 10 here. Make this a 10. So 6 from 10 is 4. And then 9 from 9 is nothing. So this is 198, remainder 4. Now for the next problem. 2,566 over 27. Well, that means division. So I've gone ahead and set it up for us to divide. Okay, to start off with, we have to divide 27 into 256 because 27 doesn't go into 25. Okay, just as before, the 256 is a pretty big number because 27 times 10 would be 270. It would just add a 0 to it. So my guess is it's probably 9, but I'm going to check on the side over here. Scoot this over just a bit. 27 times 9. 9 times 7 is 63. So that's 3, carry the 6. 9 times 2 is 18 plus 4 is 24. Okay, so that'll go 9 times. So I put 9 over the 256, and 9 times 27 is 243, and then subtract, bring down the 6. Now 27 into 136. I'm not completely sure about that. It's not nearly as big as this number was. So if you're not sure where to start, I would suggest over here on the side we just guess something in the middle of the road, like 5, somewhere in between 0 and 9. Let's see, 7 times 5 is 35, so that's 5 carry the 3. 2 times 5 is 10 plus 3, 135. Okay, looks like that will work. If this was much too small, then I would, instead of considering 5, I would jump down a little bit more than that and try maybe 27 times 3 or 2, something like that. And if this wasn't nearly as big as what I needed over here, then instead of going down, I would jump up a couple perhaps and try 7 or 8, something like that. So I would start with 5 and then go down from there if I had more here than I wanted, or I would go up if I didn't have as much as I wanted based upon this number here. Okay, so that'll go 5 times, and then 5 times 27 is 135, as we just discovered there. Subtract, and the remainder is 1. So our answer here is 95, remainder 1. Okay, now the same question you had about subtraction, you probably have for division. With such a complicated procedure, how can I be sure that I did it right? Well, there is a way to check your answer to a division problem. Okay, and the way that we do it is with multiplication. Okay, so here's the previous example that we just worked out, 95 with a remainder of 1. Okay, in order to check it, okay, we multiply the 27 by the 95, okay, and that's because we had 27 out to the side of the division and then 95 on top for the quotient, so we multiply those two together. Here's the work for that. And then we add the remainder. We add the 1 to that, and we should get 2,566. Okay, let me scroll back down here and show you the original problem and where the numbers came from when we checked. Okay, to check it, you take this and multiply it by this and add the remainder to see if you get the dividend. So it's quotient times divisor plus remainder, and see if it's equal to the dividend. Now we're going to take a look at some special properties of 0 and 1, some of which you are probably already familiar with, but it's a good reminder just in case. Number 1, a number plus 0 is equal to the number, so that if you add 0 to a number, nothing changes. The same is true for a number minus 0. You get the same number again. Okay, number 3 says a number times 0 equals 0. So whenever you multiply by 0, your answer is 0. Okay, number 4, a number times 1 equals the number. So when you multiply by 1, nothing changes. A number divided by 1 equals the number. The same sort of thing there. If you divide 1 into a number, it'll go that same number of times. Now the properties involving 0 and division are interesting. Okay, number 6. 0 divided by a non-zero number is equal to 0. Okay, when that's written in the form of a fraction, that means 0 on top. So for example, 0 over 8. Okay, this is a non-zero number. That simply means it's not 0. This whole thing would be equal to 0. Okay, so 0 on top of division would be 0. Okay, the last one here says a number divided by 0 is undefined. That means we do not give it a value. So this one is saying, for example, something like this, 7 over 0. 7 divided by 0. If you see a 0 on the bottom of division like this, you're trying to divide by 0, this cannot be done. So this has no answer, it has no value, or you could say it's undefined. So just remember, you can't divide by 0.